Pardon me. What was it again? Oh yeah, this 30 from, we got that, and then we will get that. Oh hell yeah, nice.
What they say is true. You have to see the world for yourself to appreciate how beautiful it is. Something on your mind again? Let's work through it together. 2 heads are better than 1.
It's right up ahead, but let's make sure we weren't followed first.
I've been keeping watch, Demoiselle. I haven't spotted anyone suspicious thus far.
Very good.
I shall find rooms for our respective...
Thank you, Malus. Now, let's continue, traveler.
This is your bait?
Your accommodations have been arranged. Under the present circumstances, I can confidently say it's the best we have.
Well, our funds have been a little... After all, we don't allow illegal or unethical profiteering. In fact, our funds often come from citizenry who support us.
Seems like it's tough times for everyone. But if you have the support of the people, that does sound like it's worth it.
To be honest, our financial situation was a lot better back when my father was in charge a few years ago.
Your father... He was the previous boss's
Demoiselle, if you'll allow me to explain.
No. I'll explain it myself. I suppose I couldn't run from this topic forever. And as partners, this is something I hope they can understand. My father's name is Callus. Yes, the same one they call Callus the Unfaithful in the streets. 3 years ago, he was accused of murdering his own friend. But he chose a duel to defend his honor instead of standing trial. He died in the duelist's ring.
Oh no.
But I do not believe my father was a murderer. I'm sure he was. At the time, I believed that if he only stood trial and was duly investigated, something amiss would crop up and prove. But strangely, he not only requested that even after being seriously injured, to the point where he could be deemed as having lost the duel. 3 years later, I still don't understand why he. How could he protect his honor if he's dead? If anything, he gave up his chance to defend himself. The closest piece of info I have is that my father had been investigating the serial disappearances.
So that's why you're so determined to get to the bottom of the...
That's right. I've also tried to investigate the murder my father was implicated in, but I haven't found a single new clue in my countless reviews of the investigation record. However, I believe that if the murder case is... I must know what really happened. Was my father coerced? Framed? Even if he really did kill his friend... If only he'd been more open with me when he was still alive. He even hid the fact that my mother died due to complications when giving birth to me. And now, here I am investigating his death. You really are a handful, aren't you, Papa?
Demoiselle, please. If there is anything I can...
I also will never believe that Master Callus murdered anyone. There are none whom I respect more than the two of you, Demoiselle. Master Callus did so much good in life, yet all it took was one murder case for him to be dubbed Callus the Even our supporters decreased greatly due to that incident, hence our strained finances at present.
Wait! If Callus was such a good man, wouldn't people at least be a little suspicious when he was a...
No. Perhaps people just revel in that kind of drama. It's not something exclusive to people from Fontaine, really. People love watching the evil turn over a new leaf, but they also enjoy watching good people fall into an abyss from one slip-up just as much.
But how could... never mind. If Callus was really falsely accused...
There is one other thing. Master Callus's opponent in the duel.
Oh! Her? Well, then... isn't that as good as saying that she was the one who killed him? Yeah, that's not the sort of thing that you can just let go of.
Miss Clorand has always placed great emphasis on the honorable nature of the duel. If her opponent doesn't yield, she knew Master Callus beforehand and greatly respected him, but seeing how he was... there was only ever one choice she could have...
It's not that I don't understand her at all, but I...
Don't worry, Navia. Paimon knows how you feel.
Afterward, Miss Clorand told us that at the start of the duel, Master Callus requested that she ensure Demoiselle Navia's... Yes, that is our understanding.
Oh, Papa. What madness drove you to ask the person who killed you to take care... All right, anyway, that's the information I wanted to share with you. Even if it did sound like I was just complaining towards the end. Thanks. You two...
Yeah.
Please, relax and get some sleep. We will...
Paimon slept, huh? Navia? Where did the other...
I sent them back to Poisson. It's Spina de Rosula's place of origin, and where we have our headquarters. There's not much for...
Paimon gets the feeling that you're just trying to get them off your back. But never mind that. When did you get back? Were you waiting here the whole time?
No, I just returned after going out for a while. I did some investigating yesterday regarding the name Vache.
Wait, so you didn't...
How could I after having such critical...
Guess Paimon...
Unfortunately, this name seems to have been wiped from existence. It doesn't... I suspect that those behind this have already taken steps to hinder an investigation from this angle. But that does... No. There is one ray of hope. One place in Fontaine that they would find almost impossible to threaten. And that is the archives kept by Chief Justice Neuvillette. A place where detailed files, if the Oceanette you met, is one of the young women who went missing recently.
So Neuvillette maintains an archive of case files? Whew. Guess that's the hard-working... In that case, let's go talk to him. Aren't you...
No, it's nothing.
What's on? Isn't it the place that there will be chaos? Am I right? Anyways.
The palais is right up ahead. Come on.
Halt! Please state your business here. The Chief Justice is presently up... This place does look pretty heavily guarded.
Hey, don't you recognize us?
Huh? Who are you? Just to be clear, I don't care who you are or who you might be related.
See? They've got great discipline, too.
Yep. Paimon can tell. If you're here just to crack jokes, I can point you towards the exit. Unlike some, we're busy, so please leave if you don't have a reason to be here.
No. What I meant to say is, shouldn't you remember us from a few days ago?
Oh, yes, I remember. I read about it in the Steambird. You must be Linny's...
We're here today to report and archive some information.
Is that even a...
Of course. Don't worry. We're here on a...
All right, then, I'll let you through. The Chief Justice...
Thanks so much.
Please come in.
Sorry to barge in, Monsieur Neuvillette. We only lied to get in because we didn't...
It's all right. Please let me know how I may be of assistance.
We're looking for a man called Vache. He may have been an eyewitness in the serial disappearances case. If we can find him, we may be able to unearth some...
Ah, I see. In that case, please...
Who knew that Neuvillette would be so easy to talk to?
Unfortunately, I'm quite certain that no one by the name of Vache has been involved in any case. There are no records of him either in the files or in my memory.
Traveler, what if it was really just a dream?
Is that so? All right, then. Thank you so much, Monsieur Neuvillette. We'll take our leave.
Ahem. Miss Navia, I can understand how you feel. Your father, Callus, was a truly exceptional man. We deeply regret his passing.
And what are you trying to say? Monsieur, are you trying to console me? Extend your sympathy? Or just express some tendril of... No. You are not trying to do any of that. I can hear it in your voice. There's no emotion behind your words. You only said those things because you felt like... It's just like last time. After my father took his place in the duelist ring, I pushed through the guards to talk to you as a... You even told me then that you thought there was something fishy with the case, yet you still allowed the duel to go ahead. In your eyes, the value of a human life is nothing compared to those cold... If you truly regret my father's death, then why didn't you call a stop to the duel? Why didn't you give me the power to stop him from throwing his life away? Why did you just let him die? Despised and hated by all. Everything was hanging on a thread at that moment. Just the tiniest effort could have changed
Damn, this will be
everything.
the first time I see a character crying. Right. Yeah, right.
There are still so many things I never got to tell him. So many. If you really have no heart, then just look me in the eyes. I, Navia, will show you the true meaning.
I'm sorry, Miss Navia.
You and my father are truly alike. You keep all kinds of things in your heart, and it's not so much that you can't feel, but that you would never express anything. Oh well. In any case, everyone already knows full well the apathy of the My apologies for taking my emotions out on you, Monsieur Chief Justice. Let's go, Traveler and Paimon.
Navia, are you okay?
I'm fine.
I knew it. Rain, he's crying right now. Such a cry, baby.
Rain.
Rain.
It's
It's raining. The hydro dragon is crying.
You're right.
Nivelle is
Wasn't it
crying.
still sunny when we went into the building? And there shouldn't be any active trials today. How
There.
strange.
Now that I think of it, on the day my father was convicted of murder, it was also raining.
Oh, pure Nivelle. I have no voice right now.
What is it? Did you think of something?
Was he outside? It happened.
Yeah, he was outside. It was uncovered and the rain could fall there. Why? Do you think the rain could have affected the crime scene? That thought has occurred to us before. We've even expanded the search area to try to account for that, but didn't find anything of value. Oh? Wait. You don't mean...
So you're saying that the true murderer could have been turned into water and then got washed away with the rain? Yeah, and if that's what had happened, then no one would have believed your dad, even if he explained what he saw to the authorities.
I really think I found a true genius for a partner. You're complete... All right, let's go to Poisson. With this new lead in mind, we'll get to the bottom of my...
Yeah, we're gonna make progress.
Do you want to go with me now? Or do you want to head over by yourself? Great, let's go then.
Alright, here goes nothing.
What they say is true. You have to see the world for yourself to appreciate how beautiful it is.
There's no need to be so surprised. While it may look like a ship, it's actually Spina di Rosula's. My father was the one who asked for it to be built like this. Perhaps our taste in exterior design is the only thing we occasionally had in common. A gigantic and glamorous ship embodies discovery, opportunity, ambition, and conquest. It symbolizes Spina di Rosula's bright and limitless future.
And Paimon thought you were bluffing when you said Spina di Rosula had a glory. Paimon was confused why a group with such a history would live in the sewers. But now that Paimon has seen this ship for herself?
Well, Poisson is where Spina di Rosula began, after all. Melus, we're back!
Apologies for the wait, demoiselle, and our most important. You said before that you still had some business at the court. What brings...
About that. It's because my partner here reminded me of something really important. You see, what if my father's case had something to do with water from the... You still remember, right, Melus? On that night, it was raining?
Yes, the case was quite similar to that of Mr. Linney's. Both were what you'd call impossible murders.
Could you tell us a bit more about...
Yeah, of course. Many years ago, something called synth began to gain popularity in Poisson. At a glance, it was a kind of drink that could excite your mood and produce many...
Wait! Didn't that guard guy who turned into water also mention that the primordial water could be used to produce some kind of...
Yes, he did. Considering what we know now, it's almost certain that synth is created using water from the primordial sea. If you drink synth for an extended amount of time, you'll suffer many side effects, such as losing the ability to focus or control your emotions. And if you were to stop drinking it completely, you'll experience flashes of paranoia and anxiety while lacking energy to do anything. As he oversaw Poisson, my father was compelled to put a stop to synth abuse.
Boss's uncompromising attitude incurred the synth vendor's wrath, but no matter how much they threatened or bribed him, he refused to yield. Not only that, Boss became determined to find the mastermind behind the synth operation and put an end to the...
Yes, but the enemy was very cunning. So he could never get anything out of the dealers, all of whom only sold the stuff and weren't privy to the rest of the operation. Recognizing that, my father decided to contact the dealers in secret and cultivate personal relationships with them. The man's name was Jacques. He felt greatly ashamed about his work after seeing many families destroyed by synth abuse. That night, my father hosted a banquet at his countryside estate. He planned to meet up and exchange information with Jacques over some... But then, we heard 2 gunshots from the courtyard. We raced to the scene and found my father, still holding a gun, and Jacques, who was already dead on the ground.
Huh? How did that happen? Aren't they on the same side?
Sounds just like Lenny's case, doesn't it? In both cases, the culprit seemed obvious, but neither appeared to have any motive at all. Looking back on it, though, I now believe the most important clue was something we all overlooked at the time. There were pieces of clothing left at the scene. Precisely. It's all thanks to you that I made the connection now. Back then, we all just thought they were some costumes that Jacques used to disguise himself at the banquet. But, considering it now, it's almost certain that they belong to a third person at the scene. With one extra person, we'll also need to reconsider why the 2 shots were fired. You're right. We still don't know what happened. But my intuition tells me that we're on the right track to figuring it all out.
Jacques was an empathetic man who was infinitely remorseful for his past actions. I think this third person is probably the key. On that note, however, even though this will not please you, demoiselle, as your and your father's butler, I must still offer a word of warning.
Wait, what? Oh no. The sad music is starting. Shit.
Our opponent is insidious and cruel. They are extremely difficult to deal with, and Boss has already lost his life trying to bring them to justice. Even though Spina de Rosula has lost most of its former glory, Poisson has welcomed. There is no need to follow your father's path. It would be both wise and in line with Boss's wishes to step back and...
If that's indeed what he wished for, then he should have... Was I not the closest person to him? And yet, I was the one most kept in the dark. What was the point of him dying without sharing any of the secrets he knew? Did he manage to protect... Synth is still here. Callus the Unfaithful is still his epithet. And Spina di Rosula is barely getting by. Did he think I'd just accept his meaningless death and live out my life just as meaninglessly? I've never accepted that, ever. Not since that day, and certainly I want to find out the real answer for everyone's sake. For the missing girls, for the victims, and for my...
Navia.
This is indeed the best moment to act. Your partner appears to be quite reliable, and more importantly, demoiselle, I think...
So you do know something else, Malus?
Yes, I do. In fact, even before that banquet, Boss already knew of the connection between Synth and the serial disappearance. But what drove all the tensions to the boiling point was the revelation that you, demoiselle, had been
What?
Boss also didn't tell you that he had been diagnosed with a rare illness. The doctors told him that he had no more than 5 years left to live.
Oh man.
And the serial disappearances case caused him great anxiety. 5 years was nowhere near enough time to resolve this long-standing conflict. But knowing all of this, he decided to use one final intimidation tactic before his death. He claimed to have already gotten his hands on some key incriminating evidence for the other side, and even told some members of Spina de Rosula. But as long as you remained safe, he would not share the evidence with the public. If something were to happen to you, then he and all those he told would immediately expose all they knew about Synth and the
Right, so nobody would be able to get off scot-free.
As we've seen, Boss's tactic has worked. Even though Boss has been gone for a long time, the other side has not tried to take Demoiselle's life.
No, I don't believe it. He never appeared to look sick to me.
No father wants their daughter to see them weak and haggard, especially someone as proud as Boss. To him, dying in a duel and suffering lasting dishonor as the unfaithful was still far preferable than losing face in front of his daughter.
So he chose to die in silence.
I'm afraid you're not understanding this correctly, demoiselle. What Boss wanted to hand to you was not a parasite. If Boss's spirit could hear you telling me that you want to find the answer for the sake of everyone involved, I'm sure he'd be extremely proud.
That fool. Couldn't he have just given it to... No. He might have set up everything precisely because he never thought Is that the amount of confidence he had in me? And what if I was never able to make it to where I am now? Yeah. I suppose that's true. With the way he'd set things up, if I had wanted, I could have just lived out my life without a care in the world. But thankfully, he rarely talked to me about complex matters, and thus understood little of me as a person. In this case, he really didn't need to give me an easy... Malus, what was the key evidence that he...
It's the location where Synth is produced. When he was threatening the enemy, Boss didn't share the specifics of the incriminating evidence. But if you want to use it against the enemy...
Why? If we know where the place is, can't we just go storming it?
You mustn't forget that we're fighting against a mysterious and dangerous organization that's been in operation for There's no telling what might be lying in wait at their headquarters. We also have no idea what kind of evidence we may be able to find inside, nor what people we may be able... But a single visit to their headquarters would be tantamount to a formal declaration of war. The worst case would be that we leave empty-handed, but also open ourselves up to full retaliation.
Then, in that case, why not work with the Fontaine Authority?
Well, you saw one of them dissolve during Mr. Linney's case. We have no idea just how thoroughly they may have been infiltrated.
That's true. Seems but things are different now. It should be a lot easier to prove the other side's guilt, now that we've connected Synth with the disappearances.
You sound like you've put a lot of thought into this, Maloose.
I am the butler, after all. I live but to serve the boss and demoiselles. I've always been willing to take on any kind of risk for your sake. But considering my...
Thank you for all of that, Maloose. Have you discovered anything new in the past?
Let me think. One conclusion I came to is that the enemy must be quite familiar with Spina di Rosula. When I announced orders to the organization's members on Demoiselle's behalf, I used to deliberately keep a few people in the dark. And if the vendors didn't change their plans, then the individuals informed of our orders must be innocent. After several rounds of testing and investigative tracing, I've narrowed the suspect list down. The first is Florent, Spina di Rosula.
Huh?
Yes, surprising, isn't it? He was one of the people Boss trusted the most, which also means that he was someone who understood Boss really well. Thanks to his position within Boss's innermost circle, he always knew our upcoming plans and could thus avoid capture this whole time. There's someone else like him too. Marcel, the head of Confrérie of Cabrières.
Uncle Marcel.
It's a guild in Poisson. The boss helped it to grow to its current size and prominence. In the beginning, they were only reselling some daily goods, but now they're...
So, they're like a sister organization?
Yes, you can say that. When we were fighting against the synth dealers, they provided us with... It's a bit difficult to imagine someone using their own money.
The final suspect is Thierry, the man responsible for coordinating information between Spina di Rosula and... Although the guards mostly leave us to our own devices, there are still many activities we have to report to the local authorities. Since Thierry is always in the know about our current activities, he could theoretically always plan one step ahead.
I see. These are all people who I communicate. To think that the enemy we've been fighting against has been right next to me all along, among those I trust the most. It's...
If you want to investigate them, please take every precaution to not alert the quarry. Judging from our experience, the enemy is extremely cautious.
Of course. And thank you, Maloose. You've provided us with a lot of great information.
You're too kind, my lady. I'm just doing my duty. And before I forget, proving Boss's innocence would also mean clearing him of blame in Jacques' death. After that incident, Jacques' wife and daughter were taken into the Spina's care. They still live in Poisson today. If it might help, you could also pay them a visit. I can make...
Aw, thank you so much, Maloose. You really...
A new case awaits, my dear partner. I hope we can work together to uncover the...
Let's do this, lads. What an missing person case record.
It is settled, then. Please excuse me, and enjoy your...
Thank you for arranging it.
Excuse me, miss.
Hey, Navia's all quiet. This isn't like her at all.
I'm sorry that I only came to visit after all this time. After what happened, I did—
If it's about that, there's no need to apologize. After my husband died, Spina di Rosula sent us a lot.
But aren't all of those things nothing compared to the loss of Jacques?
You don't understand it.
I didn't know how to face you. Because I didn't know what I could possibly bring as a I know only the full truth could bring closure to you. And to
That
all
kid
of us.
is kinda sus. Seriously. I've a high doubt about this kid. Yeah. Full caution.
I'm sorry. I appreciate the On the matter regarding my husband, my daughter—
Would you mind sharing it with me? I really can't believe that my father could ever bring himself to shoot Jacques.
I always knew that my husband's money was earned through others' suffering. He told me countless times that if he could turn back the clock, he would never go into the synth business. He had many regrets. So when Mr. Callis came to him with a proposal, he accepted it. He tried to be as careful as he could, but even so, he was still found out by the higher-ups.
They found out—
Papa didn't say that exactly, but Papa did tell me that I should never be ungrateful.
Before he left that day, he told me that he had no choice. It was only later that I realized it was his final farewell to the two of us. I don't know that for sure, but you could say— which is why I'm the one who should feel guilty. Callis had always taken great care of us, both when he was still alive and even if he fired the shot that killed my husband. It was likely in self-defense. It is impossible for me to hate him.
But Mama, why is Papa still the bad guy? If he did the right— Papa always wanted to be a good man. So why did he have to do a bad thing?
Well, things aren't always as they seem. You still feel like your papa was a good man.
Yeah, Papa was a really good man.
Then you should hold on to that. If a good man had to do a bad thing, then
Nice
he must have
one,
had his
Navia.
reasons.
Nice one, Navia. Nice one.
Regardless of whether he left you a parasol or a sword, he must have done so to give you a better life.
Oh,
Thank you for everything you've told me. I will definitely—
Thank you. I'm very grateful to hear this from you. Even though your personality is quite different from your father's, your determination when you speak is really—
You really think that's the first time?
Of course, there's more.
are you okay, Navia?
I'm fine. Don't worry. Let's investigate the 3 suspects next. Laurent should be nearby, and we should be able to find Thierry and Uncle Marcel in the city. I'll get myself together on the way, so please don't worry.
Greetings, boss. How may I be of assistance today?
I'm sure you've heard about what happened at the Opera House. Someone got—
Yeah, I've heard. With something that dramatic, I'm sure journalists will milk it for all it's worth. And it'll be all the talk for the next several weeks.
It also reminded me, on the day that the incident happened with my father, it was raining outside, and we found some clothes left at the scene. After my partner here put the dots together for me, I feel like we should try to reopen his case. Can you do me a favor and try to recall what happened?
Let me think. Mr. Callis was feeling pretty upbeat that day. So, after that, he told us that he wanted to go get some fresh air. So we let him go without thinking much of it. Who knew that we would hear 2 gunshots ring out right? My first reaction was that Mr. Callus's life was in danger. So I grabbed my holster and made a mad dash toward the scene. But when I got there, it was already too late. Mr. Callus was standing over a dead body with a gun in his hands. All we could do was look back.
So you also remember
Indeed. The guard said that the first shot didn't hit anyone, while the second killed Jacques. But I've never really bought that explanation. Reason being, Mr. Callus had left his gun on the table. I even made sure to confirm that before running to the But according to the guards, that doesn't mean he couldn't have had other guns. About the clothes left at the scene that you mentioned. Do you think there was a third person there who was turned into water?
At least from our perspective, my father had no reason to kill. So he would also have no reason to bring in the gun he was holding. Probably belonged to Jacques, or a third person on the scene.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So you're saying Mr. Callus ended up with the gun because he seized it from one of the other? But hold on. If that's what had happened, then why didn't he share the He didn't even want to face the Oratrice machine, and chose instead to prove his honor in a duel. Did he lose all faith in the courts after seeing someone dissolve right in front of his eyes?
About that, Malus told me a thing or two. So I'll tell you everything once the whole...
I understand. Then I'll leave Mr. Callus's honor in your hands, boss. And if I may just say one more thing. The whole Callus the Unfaithful epithet has been a thorn in my side since the day. Many people have laughed at me for still calling him Mr. Callus, even after so many years have passed. But it was Mr. Callus's trust that allowed me to rise through the ranks of Spina di Rosula and live the life no matter what others might say. He'll always be the man I respect the most.
Don't worry. I will... You and all our other comrades at the Spina deserve to know the truth as well.
That one is very useful.
Like teachers, you gotta invest a lot before you can start earning.
Hey, Thierry! It's...
Oh, now, what brings you here, Miss Navia? I've heard that you made quite the name for...
Oh, so you've caught new...
Oh, okay. Hey, I'm also a member of the Guard.
Are you sure there isn't a little bit of truth in that? Under normal circumstances, shouldn't you have been called back to the city?
I mean, where I work is really up to me. Callus did a fantastic job running the town. Building Spina di Rosula from the ground up and clearing it would be next to impossible for me to find a similarly easy but high-paying... Anyway, enough chit-chat. Are these two friends of yours? You,
Yes. These two are my What happened at the Opera House made us realize that Lenny's case and my father's may be related.
I get it. You think there might be more to the case now that we know people can be dissolved into water, right? If you want to go through the original files from your father's case.
That'd be much appreciated. Thank you.
Of course. Without them, I couldn't possibly... Why do you ask? We definitely can't use them to forcefully get more evidence for your father.
Well, you see, just recently, we were attacked by a horde of unnumbered... So, if you hypothetically wanted to do something against me, all you would need to do is get...
Then you think too highly of my abilities. Dispatching mecha is very different from control. If I had to make an analogy, when you order a dish, the chef will make it for you. You can ask the chef to cook, but not to massage your shoulders or carry your baggage. If you try to make unreasonable demands, the chef would just think you're out of your mind and ignore you completely. The same goes for me and Mike. Removing a serial number is also not as easy as you might think. There are a lot of complex steps to it, and it's almost impossible to keep it so I can promise you, those mecha were definitely private. They're certainly not cheap. So, whoever their owner is must be super rich, powerful, or both. Now that you mention it, though.
Oh, then you're officially in the clear, Thierry.
Oh, well, thank you for the vote of confidence, Navia. Jokes aside, I'd like to wish you all the best with your I'll be staying in the city for a little while, so just come find me if you need any support from the guards.
Hello. How may I help you? I'm here to see Marcel. Could you please let him know? You can just say Navia. Sure. I will let him know.
Navia, hello. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm not as young as I used to be, so my legs are giving out a bit.
Oh, it's all right, Uncle Marcel. There's no need to stress. I just wanted to talk to you briefly about what happened in the Opera House. I'm sure you—
Yes, I've never seen anything
Oh, you were at the Opera House.
That's right. I went there with Navia to see the magic show. Who knew it would turn into a whole murder? I also witnessed your marvelous sleuthing work. To beat the Hydro Archon at her own game on her own turf, I can already imagine everyone in Fontaine discussing your exploits over a few glasses of wine.
Oh, Paimon doesn't want to become the talk of drug.
Apologies. It's just how Fontaine is as a nation. Everyone loves
Uncle Marcel, you've also noticed that other thing, right? The fact that
Yes. I was reminded of your father's case right away. Is that what you're investigating?
Exactly. I still don't have much solid proof, but I can sense that the other side has already begun.
Oh, and
We were attacked on Araneus by some unnumbered Gardamex. And there was also an attempt to get me to drink water from the primordials. If not for the vigilance of my partner, I probably wouldn't even be here talking to—
Oh, you're giving us too much credit.
alas, it seems things are heating up again. The peace that Callus sought so dearly will soon become a thing of the past. But rest assured, Navia, Poisson will always remain a safe haven for you. If you're scared, you can always return. If anyone dares to lay their hands on you there, the Confrérie of Cabrières will use its funds to the last Mora to—
Thank you, Uncle Marcel. But I don't intend to go into hiding. Do you have any new thoughts on my father?
About that. Sorry, my age is catching. The Confrérie was responsible for that banquet, so I was out and about the whole time making sure things were running smoothly. I didn't even have the time to drink with the guests. Then I heard the sound of a gunshot, and the rest was hit.
Oh, it's okay. No need to push yourself. We'll ask around.
Sounds good. Just let me know if you ever need— All my wealth comes from Callus's patronage and support. I'll spend—
That's not that useful, but okay.
This can work. I'll just treat them as new samples.
Who says you have to use scissors to cut clothes? Leave those rigid rules behind. I much prefer using my own cutting tools.
We've talked to all three suspects, purely based on their conversation.
None of them sounded particularly suspicious.
I suppose that's to be expected, though. If a single conversation's all that's needed to find them out, then my father wouldn't have needed to investigate the case for Anyway, even though we didn't make a breakthrough, let's still compile what we were able to find.
But where should we start? Ah, you're right! Flora mentioned that Callus probably only ended up with the gun because of circumstance.
According to Jacques' family members, he already told them that he had been discovered, and that he had no choice before he left home that day. If I had to guess, he probably received an order from the synth boss to kill my father. Had he refused, he and his family's lives would have been forfeit.
So, Jacques fired the first shot?
Oh? And why is that?
Ooh, that's a good point. Jacques probably already knew that he was just being used as a tool for murder. And once he had completed his mission, he'd be of no more use to his boss.
So, what would make more sense from his perspective would be to turn his back on the Order and seek protection from my father. Makes sense. But without evidence, that's still just... Besides Jacques, the attack from the Gardamex has been bothering me quite a bit as well. It's obvious that our enemy has become more antsy after the secret of the primordial seawater was revealed.
Do you think he knew, even then, that we'd follow this lead to the end?
Given everything that's happened since... But who among the 3 suspects would have the ability to control privately owned Gardamex?
Let me pause for some second.
Uncle Marcel? My father did really trust him. And they worked together on a large number of projects. Maybe that's how he got to know Jacques. And with funds from the Confrérie, he could also afford a large number of Gardamex. It's still really hard for me to imagine, though. After all, Uncle Marcel has been around since I was just a child. Also, wouldn't this mean he has been spending a whole lot of mora and energy to fight his own synth business? Florent? It is true that he was closest to my father, and thus had the best chance of learning about his dealings with Jacques. But as Spina di Rosula's advisor, his work mostly deals with personnel and security.
So you're saying he's too broke to afford him?
Exactly. He can't. And even if he could, I don't think he would be able to Thierry, you say? Huh. It is possible that he's figured out a way to convert the Gardamex for but I didn't feel like he was lying when he was talking to us about the mecha. I also don't think he'd be able to keep that kind of tampering under wraps.
Yeah, had he actually tampered with the mecha, we'd be able to prove it with a simple check of the guard's inventory. If the mecha were taken from the guards, it should be pretty easy to find out when and how that happened.
Who could it be?
Okay, let's do this.
You know, if you think everything through, Uncle Marcel is indeed the most suspicious of them all.
Could we be missing other suspects? Malus didn't know about the people turning into water thing when he narrowed it down to these 3, did he?
Malus has always been very reliable, and his judgment of others' trustworthiness has been fair and well considered. When he laid out his case for the 3, the rationale he gave me made a lot of sense as well. The suspect is knowledgeable about the Spina's internal affairs, has the means to dispatch Mecha to assassinate us, and possess... Even if I don't want to believe it, I'm starting to see how things could all tie back to Uncle Marcel.
Well, We still have another trump card on top of all the theorizing and speculating.
Yes. Malus did say that charging straight in there would be extremely risky. We need far more solid proof before—
Navia, here you are. Oh, I've been looking for you.
Huh? Aren't you the guy from the—
Yeah. News came from Irenaeus just after you left.
Wasn't that place built specifically for holding trials?
I know. But they said the person they're putting on trial is a Fatui harbinger called Tartaglia.
I'm not that surprised by it. I didn't know about this part.
What? Is that someone you know?
Yeah, we know him. Maybe even a little too well.
Well, he's been accused of being the true culprit behind the serial disappearance.
Wait, how? None of our investigations have had—
That's what I thought was strange about it, so I came to tell you the news right away. If the charge against him stands, then it'll be next to impossible to get the guards to support any of our planned investigations.
Right, because they'll think they've already found the culprit.
Yeah, and it'll be a lot harder then to clear Mr. Callus's name.
I understand. Well, partner? Huh? Split up? What do you mean? Just as since this is a trial about the serial disappearances case, the culprit's attention will be focused on Irenaeus, leaving his home— You're right. This is our best opportunity. All right then, let's do this. I'll stall them at the Opera House and charge Marcel as— I won't have any chance of making that charge stick, though, unless we find more evidence. It'll be up to you to make it back in time and hand the decisive evidence to me.
We'll help you, just like you helped us in Linny's—
Demoiselle, please allow us to accompany you.
I'm ready.
Malus, Silver, when did you two—
We heard that you'll be leaving Poisson and figured that you might require— It's our hope that your confidence will be bolstered with the two of us by your side.
Thank you so much. Then, let's make haste for Irenaeus. Paimon, Traveler,
see you then! Now that Navia has set out for Irenaeus, we should also get going. The location has already been marked on the map, so let's head over. Huh. According to Malus's info, the synth production base is underwater. Let's go and try to find the entrance. That leads to the synth production base. It sure doesn't seem out of the ordinary at all. You're right. An important place like this is bound to have— Navia's probably arguing up a storm right now to stop—
It would appear that I must repeat my question again, Mr. Tartaglia. Do you accept the charge that you are the true culprit behind—
To be perfectly honest, I don't understand your country's complicated court system, or the reason why I'm being charged with something I've never even heard. However, I did hear that people who have been charged can choose to participate in a duel to clear their name. In which case, as long as I accept the charge, I can have an all-out fight with that champion duelist Clorend, right?
Straight to the point.
I've got to admit, that's one of the most enticing offers I've ever... When I privately sparred with her last time, she was obviously holding back. Real disappointing.
Hey! Don't you understand? You're currently the prime suspect for a major case. This isn't the
Oh? Sounds like the Hydro Archon wants to lecture me on the ways of the Opera House. Then why don't you duel me too? I'm the kind of student that learns best in the heat of...
No. That's not what I meant.
Alas, it would appear that communication with the defendant is going poorly, and we have made very little progress. In that case, let me explain everything from the very beginning again. The goal of this...
That case had nothing to do with him! You've got the wrong man! Huh? What's going on?
Why?
I told you it couldn't be one of the Fatui Harbin.
Miss Navia, this is the second time you've interrupted the court proceedings. I only tolerated your behavior last time because you were able to provide the court with a key eyewitness. But that was an exception rather than standard court protocol. I can very well charge you with contempt of court for your
Oh, please. Did you ever think I had any respect for this place's pointless We can put that discussion aside for now. I'm not here to argue with you. I'm here to charge the true culprit behind the serial... And if my charges prove true, then Tartaglia here will be proven innocent by...
Oh, a young lady has charged in and offered to clear my name. How fascinating. Well, I'd gotten half bored to death by all these rules and procedures anyway. So I'll take you up on that. So, Your Honor, is there nothing else for me to do now?
You may take a seat for now in the audience, but that doesn't mean the suspicions against you have been lifted. Now then, Miss Navia, who is the person you would like?
That person is...
Shit. Wait. Okay. I just remembered. This one. Yeah, that one.
Marcel, the head of Confrérie of Cabrières! Huh? What confrérie?
I've heard of them, but weren't they Spina di Rosula's...
Oh, is this going to be a friends to enemies type situation?
Please let me remind you, Miss Navia, that charging someone is an incredibly serious matter. Committing to the charge also means taking on the legal risk, and if the charge fails, depending on the circumstances, you may also be charged with the crime of making a false accusation. Knowing this, do you...
Yes.
In that case, I declare the charge to be valid. Miss Navia and attorneys, please take your places on the court. Members of the guards, please contact Mr. Marcel right away so that he... Mr. Marcel, you will not require an attorney.
Apologies, sir. It all just happened so quickly. I still haven't figured out what's going on. I think an attorney won't be necessary. This is probably just a misunderstanding.
Very well. In that case, since both sides have now arrived, Miss Navia, please present your charges.
I would like to take everyone back to 3 years ago, to the case of... Only through elucidating what really happened in that case can we connect all the dots for the serial disappearances case.
Navia, do you really think that I was the one who killed your father? Come on, why would I do that? Callus was my benefactor, and remember both you and I only ran to the scene when we heard the sound of a gun. If that's enough to make me a suspect, wouldn't that make everyone at that banquet a suspect as well?
I think there's no point in getting into the specifics right now.
The audience... Exactly correct, Your Honor. I must refresh everyone's memory about that case before I can explain my charge and...
I see. In which case, I will recount the findings about that case as originally recorded by Maison Gardiennage.
Whoa.
On the day of the murder, Spina di Rosula hosted a large banquet in a countryside estate owned by the Confrérie of Cabrières. During the banquet, all attending guests heard 2 gunshots from the courtyard. When the guests arrived at the scene, they found the primary suspect, Callus, holding a gun, while his acquaintance Jacques lay dead from a gunshot wound. The guards' investigation did not recover any other firearms from the scene. As a result, they concluded that the suspect's first shot must have missed, while the second must have taken. The suspect did not dispute this conclusion, and also declined to defend himself in court. Instead, he chose to prove his innocence through a duel. Callus was defeated by champion duelist Clarand in the ensuing duel, and soon succumbed to the injury. These are the known facts about the case.
Let's do this.
The one with the motive to kill was Jacques, not my father. And even so, Jacques still had no reason to pull the trigger. In truth, the third person shot Jacques first, and was shot in turn by my father when my father seized the gun from him. After that, the true culprit turned the third person into water, erasing all traces of him from the scene. Thank you for the summary, Your Honor. Of course, the guard's conclusion appeared quite sensible to us at the time. However, we should revisit the case now that we've gained new information about the abilities of water from the
Let's do this.
Something's not right.
Sorry.
The testimony of the victim's family confirms that Jacques had thoughts of assassinating Callus when he set out for the banquet. However, in the end, he reconsidered and instead shared everything with Callus, hoping. Unfortunately for Jacques, the true culprit had already considered this possibility. This assassin first shot Jacques, then turned to shoot Callus, only for Callus to wrestle the gun from him and kill him instead. A pile of clothing was found at the scene. The guards once believed they were used by Jacques as a costume to disguise him, but now it is clear that the clothes were proof that there was a third person at the scene, and that they were turned into water after committing the murder. Realizing this, the true culprit caused the hired assassin to dissolve into water, leading everyone to believe Callus was responsible for Jacques' murder. This is the true version of events.
So that's what happened. Wait, you're telling me something as dangerous as water from the primordial sea has been used for all—
What a great theory. It also explains Callus's and Jacques' respective motives. I guess they didn't shoot each other after all.
Mr. Marcel, you are the one being charged with the crime. You should provide a rebuttal if you wish to.
But I think I agree with everything Navia just said. In fact, there was nothing in her speech that directly implicated me.
Then, may I ask some questions? In my opinion, we primarily need to determine 1. Do you have the evidence to back?
I'm afraid not. At least not at this very—
Boo! If you don't have any evidence, you should just go home.
I may not have the evidence with me, but I know where I could go to collect it. If we look up the deserted clothes against a record of people who went missing around the same time, we should be able to find a match. Considering the serial disappearances case, the guards probably kept careful records of all missing persons from around that time, regardless of age or gender.
That makes sense to me. Monsieur Neuvillette, I would consider this to be a reasonable investigative direction.
Why do I feel—
Maybe she's scared of embarrassing herself again?
Alternatively, she's become more diligent after charging an innocent citizen in the last trial.
My second question has to do with the ensuing duel. If the truth is indeed, then why didn't Mr. Callis explain himself in court? If he had testified that a person had been dissolved, he could have at least mounted a defense.
I've thought about this too, and the answer is actually pretty simple. He felt there were things that were more— The dissolving power of water from the primordial sea is an important secret for the true culprit of the serial disappearances case. My father could have exposed it for all to see, but he chose to take it to the— At that time, Spina di Rosula was in dire straits, and his reputation had already been shattered. He had no guarantee that going forward with the truth would allow the culprit to be brought to justice. What was certain, however, was that it would paint a gigantic target on my back.
Boss once told me that Demoiselle had already been selected as the next target of the serial
What?
If the secret had gotten out, the culprit would have fought an all-out war with Espina right there and then. I wouldn't have been the only one in danger. All of us would have stood to lose our lives. Of course, the guards might eventually figure out the truth of the matter and determine that we were in the— But what good would that do? How can a hollow verdict protect— Had this opera house ever given my father any kind of confidence in its brand of justice, Spina di Rosula would have had no reason to But by staying silent, we retained the ability to deter our opponents and continue the stalemate. I was able to become Spina di Rosula's president, which made me harder to target, as well as giving me more time to grow and learn. And once I have figured out the truth and stepped up to the challenge, I will do what this opera house cannot, and restore my father's truth and honor back to him.
So, you mean to say, your father intended to die in the—
That's right.
Do you have any—
Of course. All you need is to ask his opponent. I don't need your apology, your guilt, or your support from the shadows. You don't have to do anything, but since he entrusted his will to you, Clarand, you should tell us the truth about his—
So, during the duel, did you believe that Callis was
Yes, as a champion duelist, I've fought many battles and taken a countless number of dishonored lives. In my line of work, I've seen all kinds of people give their all for the faintest hope to continue living. Some were determined, others passionate, and some even manic and twisted. Just one look and I can tell if a duelist is hoping to live or if they're looking to die. I hereby swear on my name and honor as a champion duelist that Mr. Callis never intended to leave the ring alive.
Since that's your testimony, I have no more questions. It appears there really are good grounds.
I concur. However, Miss Navia, you still have not explained the link between your father's case—
Right? What she said was fascinating, but kind of beside—
Wait, weren't they just talking about the serial disappearance?
Of course, Your Honor. The two cases are connected via a matter of In my father's case, the culprit intended to kill both Jacques and Callis. As a result, they planned to act after hearing two, and at the end of Linny's trial, the culprit also only dissolved the victim in front of everyone because they realized they were at risk of being identified. The culprit could only time their actions so precisely if they were already at the scene. Coincidentally, Marcel attended both the banquet and the trial.
So that's why you suspected me. Even after hearing your reasoning, I still can't help but find it a little preposterous. I'm used to it, though. You've always been an impulsive and sentimental child, Navia. It's one of your most endearing
No need to appeal to Patho.
I won't try to refute your points one by one, but even if everything you just said was true, can you prove that I was the only person present at both events? On top of that, does a person have to be physically present to control the timing? Can't someone remotely monitor the play?
Not much you can say to that.
I know that even with that, you might still think you can reduce the list of suspects with some further investigations, until alas, who won't feel at least a little hurt but if I were to dismiss this completely, you'd also think I'm not being considerate of your feelings. Ah well, let Uncle... Do you know what the biggest flaw in your...
I suppose you're gonna tell me...
It's time. I'm a businessman by trade. From that standpoint, there's no reason for me to kidnap young women. It's a high-risk action with nothing. In addition, I left my home in Snezhnaya when I was young to come to Poisson and work in some trade. My business only thrived when I received Callus's... But the disappearances began before I ever stepped foot in Fontaine.
I do apologize, demoiselle.
No, it's not your fault.
Is there anything else you'd like to say? You can also take a look at my border entry records, or ask my friends and family when I left Snez. Could those records and testimonies do something to appease the unspeakable?
Seems like she got the wrong guy. At this rate, Navia will be convicted for falsely accusing him.
Oh shit.
I think you've done a superb job of dissecting your father's feelings as he neared the end of his life. But aren't you going against all of his wishes and expectations right now? He wished for you to become more rational, collected, and conscientious, instead of dwelling only on your own feelings. Once you've learned to be more considerate of others' feelings, and to stop rushing headlong into things, you'd have met most of his expectations.
This isn't just about me, and it never has. The biggest difference between me and the rest of the victims is that I still have the ability to search for the truth, while that same agency has long been taken from them. The people whose families were destroyed by synth abuse, the people who lost their loved ones to the serial disappearances, and the people who suffered tragic ends due to their many people's images are flashing before my eyes. I'm sure some are coming to those of you in the audience as well. And whose image do you see, Marcel? Is it a man named Vacher? Oh. So you do know that name?
I'm merely surprised you'd suddenly say the name of someone I've never even heard of.
I was waiting for you to say...
And back to Virgil. What? I love that name. Like, really, I love that name. Sorry, still got no voice. Yikes.
we need to go up, but Paimon doesn't see a way. Let's take a look around. Maybe we'll find a hidden mechanism that'll show us the way up. From where we need to go. Everyone hold hands.
Rain outlines your fate. Know my sword.
At the frying pan, into the fire. Eat this!
Let me weave you a verse.
Delicate as silk.
I see everything.
Rain outlines your fate.
Boba, get them! Out of the frying pan, into the fire!
Lend me a hand!
The Temple of Wisdom!
I am the cutting edge of fashion!
Grow! You're toast! After all that, we finally made it! Though, as expected, the mastermind isn't here. That's right. Then let's hurry up and find some evidence so we can get back to the... Let's see what's what's written here. Nothing escapes detection. Callus. Navia's father. Oh, this seems to be an investigation report on him. Yep, it's about finding someone to assassinate Jacques and Callus because of a lack of confidence that Jacques himself would go through with it. This should prove the existence of the third person, right? We still have not determined the exact content of the key information Callus has passed on to certain members. The old dog's a real menace to deal with. Even if he abides by the promise he's made to us, he will still have the upper hand. He can act whenever he wants to make our lives miserable. The only option left is to remove him from the picture. I concur. Let's send someone to kill him. He won't declare war as long as we don't touch Navia. Oh, seems like we've got a bunch of correspondence between the higher-ups. They're all just so... Oh, look! There's an important-looking basin over here, and it's full of water! That means this is where they make all the synth! And that special water is the... If you dilute it with normal water, you'll get synth, but the pure stuff can dissolve a human! Paimon will take notes on this incriminating... What's this over here? Looks like some kind of plate. Experiment number 16 aims to verify Jacob Ingold's research conclusions. The experiment was a failure. No individual managed to resurface from the water from the primordial sea. Female specimens 22, 23, and 24 were dissolved. Sorry, Traveler. Paimon will try her best. It's just that Paimon's never read... How can someone write something that terrible in such a matter-of-fact tone? You read the rest. Paimon's too scared to keep going. So that's why... Wait, did he really think he'd be able to find a way just by dissolving people over and over? That's just insane! Huh? Isn't that the name you heard by the fountain? Paimon thought he was an eyewitness in the serial disappearances case. You mean Vache is the one who did all of these... experiments? So that's it! Vache was no victim. No, that's not it either. If that's the case, why would he want people to resurface? In any case, Whoa! There's so much synth here! And so many bottles of ingredients that probably just contain the waters of the primordial sea. Mixing in progress. Whoa! There's even fruit-flavored synth? What's all this? Aw, it's a bunch of pink accessories, a hair tie, a necklace, even a makeup box. Oh, Paimon sees it too, but why are all these cute things? Huh? You mean the girls from the serial and then they were turned in, and all the boxes of things, these names. We've looked at almost everything here, and it seems like our theories were spot. Yeah, we haven't found anything that reveals his true identity.
Bro, they last clue us. Damn. Like, really, wow. That's Scary?
No wonder even Nervalette wasn't able to find anything. Whoever it is probably destroyed everything to do with that name. That way, even if we bring all this back to the opera, we won't be able to identify the true culprit. Sure thing. Paimon wanted... We'll find something for... Ugh. Nothing at all! And Paimon can't even find snacks either! Whoa, really? Let Paimon see! Vinier. Isn't that Vache's Then... you found her diary. Aw, it's just a normal diary chronicling their love story. She was so sweet too. Oh, Paimon feels even worse for her now.
No, wait, what the f? What the f?
So many, a whole page's worth, but they're all crossed out. Was she unhappy with all of them? The final name she decided... Marcel.
Wait, what? Huh?
Wait, but Marcel's pretty old. Has this case been going on for so long that he's Vache and Vinier's grown son?
What the fuck? Nah, I didn't figure it out.
And whose image do you see? Is it a man named... Oh, so...
I've merely surprised...
I was waiting for...
Navia! We're back!
As expected of my partner.
Just how often do you intend to flout the rules of this court?
Pardon me.
It's all right, Monsieur Nervalette. Given their confidence,
Okay, since the missing person, Vache, experimental colors investigation. Okay, there's none. I think it's about this one, maybe. No. This one. Yeah, this one. Yeah, this one.
But the truth of it, Marcel, is that you've always been Vache.
Yeah.
Huh?
We've investigated your lair and we already know After your lover, Vinier, was dissolved, you kept abducting young women to experiment on the hopes of bringing her back You even created Marcel as a new identity and destroyed all records of your past as
So that's it. Even the villains in opera performances rarely go that. And with that, Marcel's motive...
This information regarding your past also dismantles your prior... Well, Marcel, do you know where you went wrong? You fixated your gaze on the lover that passed away, instead of paying attention to the living people around you.
Will be going on after this. Something bad will be going on. Something bad will happen after this. Yeah.
So, you never noticed how we changed, or how we grew as...
You also never understood Boss's real expectation.
Or our determination to see things through.
Your determination.
Mr. Marcel, please speak up now if you would like to defend yourself. Otherwise, the trial will move on to the next stage.
Do you really think I wanted to do any of this? Pay attention to you? What for? Have you ever paid attention to me? Ever empathized with my pain? Ever known how it feels to watch the love of your life dissolve right in front of your eye? No one helped me. No one even believed me. All those decades ago, even the officers from the Maison Gardiennage were laughing at me. They said there's no way a human being can turn into water. So I must have gone mad from grief. Vigniere's death was brushed away by all of you as if it didn't matter at all. Well, now you know, don't you? Ha! Well, you only have yourselves to blame. You set up this ornate opera house in pursuit of your so-called justice. Vigniere is dead. We promised each other that we would always be together. Wherever she goes. But I'm not from this blasted place. So I can't be dissolved. No matter what I do.
Hey, is that water from the primordial sea that he's drinking?
I can't dissolve! Can't dissolve! Can't dissolve! Do you all see? I can't go! I can't follow! So if I can't go where she is, what choice do I have but to try to bring her? I did all of that. And in the end, that accursed Calais, I spent my entire life living on pins and needles, only to get stabbed by his idiot daughter at the very end.
The suspect is exhibiting signs of mental distress. Guards,
don't touch me! Don't anybody come near me! Vigniere, please, Vigniere, don't think badly of me. All I want to do...
At this point, the verdict of this trial is clear. With Mr. Marcel's conviction, the charges against Mr. Tartaglia no longer have...
Fine by me. I was in a bad mood, but after a show like that...
Traveler, please submit all the evidence you have collected to the guards, so that I might review and summarize the truth behind the serial... The man now known as Marcel was originally named Vacher and worked as an adventurer with his partner and lover Vigniere. During an underwater expedition, Vigniere accidentally came into contact with water from the primordial sea and was dissolved in front of Vacher as a result. Vacher learned of the primordial water's existence through the work of others and began to kidnap young women for research, with the goal of discovering a method to restore Vigniere back to life. To cover his tracks, he invented the new alias of Marcel and began to operate a business in... During the course of his research, Vacher discovered that a diluted concoction of water from the primordial sea can induce feelings of euphoria and began to manufacture and market. However, as he accumulated wealth to fund his continued research and expanded the scope, he came into conflict with... After exchanging blows with Spina di Rosula for many years, Vacher decided to assassinate their president, Calais. Although the assassination did not go as Vacher expected, he was able to turn Calais into the murder suspect by dissolving, and just recently, Vacher attempted to frame Linny as the culprit of the serial disappearances case, using a similar... However, his attempt to frame Linny failed, and the power of water from the primordial sea became public knowledge. This case also exposed enough of Vacher's machinations that he was eventually successful. Thus concludes the enigmatic history of the serial disappearances case, with the truth revealed to all.
Woohoo!
The oratrice will now deliver the final verdict regarding the charges against Mr. Vacher.
Yeah, we're putting the war. What do we got? Whoa, Flash taking it, bro. Hey, yo, Kafka, bruh.
According to the judgment of the oratrice mécanique d'analyse cardinale, Mr. Vacher is guilty.
Poor guy, I understand him very well.
Guards! Take sachet.
Good. It's what he deserves.
With that, the serial
We really just witnessed history. Who would have thought the true culprit would be such a polite and well-spoken guy?
Yippee! We helped Navia bring the bad guy to... He's hurt so many innocent people and now he's... Huh? Are you okay?
Demoiselle, you were absolutely brilliant.
The day our late boss had always hoped for has finally come.
Yeah. Yeah. It's... See, Papa? Spina di Rosula's still...
Well now, hasn't this been a most delicious piece of drama? The villain has been caught, justice has been served, past wrongs have been righted, and it's a big ol'... Since it's been such a great show, I'll just let the false accusations against me slide. Either way, I've still got some business.
Please wait just one moment, Mr. Tartaglia.
What now? None of this has anything to do with me.
According to court protocol, since this trial was initiated due to a charge against you, a verdict must also be made regarding the initial charge before the trial can conclude.
Oh, come on. Is this really necessary? Haven't you already caught the real criminal? Isn't it time for side characters like me to exit stage left?
Side characters.
Please respect the laws of Fontaine. This has always been the rule.
All right, but this sure is a lot of hassle. All I need to do is stand over there, right? Let's just get this over with.
Through evidence presented in the public trial that was just held, it has been established that Mr. Tartaglia has no direct connection to the serial disappearances case. The guilty party has been identified, and thus it is logical to suppose Mr. Tartaglia is innocent of the charges. We now turn to the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinale to render...
Hello.
According to the judgment of the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse... Guilty.
Huh? Wait, what?
What?
Hey! That's not funny! Didn't you just say What's with this verdict? Is your justice machine malfunctioning?
Huh? This has never happened before. The Oratrice actually returned a different verdict from the Chief Justice.
I mean, have you ever heard of an innocent Fatui Harbinger? Do you think the Oratrice might have just convicted him on general principle?
Is Fossilers playing with the thing?
But weren't the charges about the serial disappearances case? No matter what else he's guilty of, it shouldn't...
The judgment of the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinale is by law. Guards, please take the suspect into custody.
Oh, child. Wait. What? Whoa.
So this is how justice is done in Fontaine. What a joke. You've got your rules. Well, I've got mine too!
Leave me alone. Look at pain. Put it down on me. I don't really let it out to the I just do it. I never go. Put it up to stay. You'll find it out. I never let it out until it goes out to until it finds my dream that is so big.
He's activating his spell legacy!
Let's go, moving No.
I am sorry. If you have been wronged, we will find the truth. But the rules of the court must be upheld. Apologies. This is also the first time I've encountered such a situation. However, according to the rules established at the conception of Fontaine's court system, The Oratrice's judgment is the final verdict of the court. All I do is follow court procedure. As for why the Oratrice arrived at the conclusion it did, you should probably ask someone more knowledgeable than me.
Why are you looking at me? I had nothing to do with it! I don't know what happened there either! Hey, stop staring at—
What does Lady Farina mean by that?
She says she has no idea either, but that's impossible. Didn't she create the
Yeah, so are the verdicts reliable or not? Can results like this really be called justice?
My dearest citizens, did you really think we'd allow an incorrect verdict to be handed out in this court? Did you really believe that the judgment could be mistaken or be the result of some sort of random mishap? Don't tell me.
But the way she looked just now, it was pretty obvious she had—
However, given the state of things, I shall give you an explanation. Everything that just took— And, of course, for every performance there is a script. Everything has unfolded exactly as I expected from the very beginning. If you thought Child had nothing to do with the serial disappearances case, it is only because everything he's done, not to mention the danger he poses, are beyond ordinary comprehension and all shall be revealed in time. You will come to understand. Now, having said that, although I hate to leave things hanging in suspense, it is now time for this performance to end. As the lead actress, I shall be the first to take my leave. Toodaloo!
So she chose to make her escape after all, did she?
Yeah.
So you're saying we shouldn't put much stock into what she just said?
She probably just put on that performance to save face. As for the truth, it's unlikely. However, please be assured that I will continue to investigate this case in a personal capacity. Just as I promised, if the judgment has been incorrect, we will do—
All right. Even though we feel pretty badly for him, after all, he's done plenty of bad stuff. So he should have known he'd go to prison.
Hey, what are you doing? Quick, stop! Traveler! Hey, Traveler!
Marcel! What are you doing?
Stop resisting arrest! Cease! No, wait! I just want to ask the Traveler something. I'm not looking to run away. Please, just let me ask this one small thing.
Go on.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you. I was being led away when I finally realized something. Where did you first hear the name Vache? I erased all records of that name.
Are you still trying to prove your innocence? Give it up. You've already been convicted.
Really? You did? You're sure? You met her? But how could that be? How did you manage to do it? The Fountain of Lucine? Then she's been so close to me all along. And I just never... Please give me a chance to talk to her again. Just let the Traveler take me to the fountain to see her one last time. This is the last request I'll ever make in my life. You can do whatever you want to me afterward.
What? Give an inch and you want to take a mile? Do you think serial killers...
Paimon agrees. Why should we...
This request, is it worth as much to...
Of course! Wait, no. It's worth even more.
Humans. Will they betray the instinct to live just to satisfy spiritual needs? Very well. I will grant your...
Your Honor.
I will go with him. You do not need to worry about it.
In that case,
Thank you. this the place? You said she's here, but what do I need to do to see her?
Yeah, and even Paimon could hear her after drinking that thing. Didn't you just drink a lot of it on the stage as well? Oh, in that case...
Vache!
Ah!
Yes, that's it! So you heard it too!
Vinier, it's me! It's me!
Vache?
I'm here! I'm here! Where are you, Vinier? I'm coming for you. I'm...
Hey, wait! Be careful! Hey!
What?
Vinier, is that you? It's me, Vache!
Vache? Why did you come? You look a lot older than I remember.
It's been more than 20 years. I've suffered for over 20 years since the day you left. All this time, only the thought of bringing you back has kept me alive. Nothing else mattered to me. I must be dreaming. Who would have thought I'd get the chance to tell you all of my feelings like this? Vinier, you are my everything. I really don't know how I could live without you.
But Vache, if you ask me, this world would be better off without you.
What are you...
If not for you, I would have finished my law degree and probably become If not for you, I would have continued to pursue my love of the arts. And if not for you, I would at least have been able to take care of my mother.
Whoa. It's getting...
And she would not have
it's
grown
getting
old
emotional.
and died alone.
It's getting emotional.
With nothing but the tears on her cheeks. It's all because of your selfishness, Vache.
You... Wait, you are not Vinier.
You're right. I am not Vinier. I am... Every woman who died by your hand, as our bodies dissolved, our consciousness flowed back to the primordial sea. Our thoughts circulated endlessly within the primordial sea, and we were no longer individuals, but we became one, just as streams of water come together in the sea. I'm Cressy. I'm Lemonade. I'm Azine. The only one I am not is Vinier.
Why? But then...
She doesn't want to see you anymore. Every tendril of her consciousness is avoiding you. This is what you get for your selfishness. Your selfishness robbed us of our lives and our futures. You said time and time again that you'd do any and everything for her. But did you ever consider whether she'd want to see you do the things that you did? If she would despise you for what you became? You are a liar, a heartless murderer, and a cowardly narcissist. The only thing you are not is Vinier's beloved. From the moment your first victim died and her consciousness merged with Vinier's, she has had nothing but pure hatred for you.
No!
Yeah. She can't hate me. Let me see her, please. Have mercy.
You still don't understand. When I said don't look for me, that came from the real Vigne. But on top of that, she also said that because it's her final drop. She said that because she knew that if you did come here, we will show no mercy to you.
Oh.
Vache.
Vache? Vache. 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 Vache.
Drown.
No, I appear to have lost his soul. Nah, this is getting worse. And by the way, the 2 hours.
Finally, we have some time to do shopping. Gosh, it's really been a long time since we've been able to relax.
Well met, partner. I knew something great was going to happen when I woke up in such a...
Even this weather can't put a damper on the demoiselle's mood.
It's a pleasure to see you both again.
Oh, hey, Navia! It's been a few days.
Oh, now that I believe. I'm easy to work with and always bring home the bacon. Who wouldn't treasure having a partner like me?
Sounds like you're really enjoying life these days, Navia. What have you been busy with since the...
It's just been one thing after the other. I've been making non-stop trips between Poisson and the court. Everyone from Spina di Rosula organized a memorial for my father. We never held a memorial when he first died, since everyone knew that even if we held one back then, no one was going to come. This time, though, everyone in Poisson, and even many people from...
So his name's definitely been cleared now. That's what we like to hear.
It's been the dearest wish of Demoiselle.
That blasted stubborn fool. Oh, by the way, I ran into Charlotte just after I left the memorial. Well, maybe it'd be more accurate to say I knew she would be there, and there was no way she'd just...
Huh? So you know Charlotte too?
Yeah, way back when I first became the president of the Spina di Rosula, she was all... I believe the story was called The True Heart of Darkness, Secret Tales of the Yellow Robe. To be fair, though, it was a real... She was trying to lean on our friendship to get me to do an exclusive piece on the serial disappearance.
Oh yeah, she told us about that. She's always been super interested in that case, so now her wish has finally come true.
Anyway, I told her to make sure that when she writes about you guys entering the opera house with the critical evidence, that you both sound really cool.
Now that's another thing to look forward to. We trust...
Oh, and in other news,
Oh, are you two on better...
While you were investigating Vache's headquarters, Clorinde gave testimony. It was thanks to her that we were able to turn the tide. I wanted to thank her. I mean, there's also no point in being awkward all the time, so we took the chance to reconcile with each other.
Oh, that's great. Paimon also thought Clorinde wasn't actually a bad person. It's always good to have...
Anyway, now that the case is finally... Oh, actually...
What is it?
I should pay a visit to my father's grave and tell him the truth of what... And on top of that, just how much people...
Miss Navia.
Indeed.
We want to go...
Sure thing. I'd like you two to...
And in that case, everyone, let's be off.
Yeah, you're right. This is where my father's grave is.
Huh? There's someone there already.
Hmm?
Isn't that Nervalette? Why the Chief Justice be here?
I knew it.
Huh?
So that's why he is crying right now. Yeah, the rain. Doesn't that mean that she is crying?
My apologies. I should have asked before coming to pay my respect.
Don't say that.
Sorry about that.
Oh, I was trying to say there's no need for you to I wanted to show my father how much I've grown. But still, I doubt I've grown to the point that even the Chief Justice would feel compelled to apologize to me over and over.
In that case, I will stop apologizing for now.
You really could use some pointers on understanding human emotions, Monsieur Neuvillette. In any case. Oh.
Well, ever since that day, I've been turning a question over and over in my head. Just what is justice anyway? There was once a time when I didn't want to believe that there could be anything more important to humans than life itself. Oh, rather than that, it's probably more truthful to say I didn't believe humans were capable of resisting the most basic instinct of living things, that they could rebel against their own nature, which is also why I didn't stop your father from beginning. I believed that a truly innocent man would never throw away his life like that, that there was nothing, should have been nothing more important than that Mr. Callus proved me utterly and decisive. If not for his sacrifice, the serial disappearances case would have remained Mr. Callus made the choice he did for his daughter, for his associates, and in the end, from a certain perspective, one could say that he did it all for the sake of a justice that's higher than life. So, you asked me why I came here. I just wanted to say my apologies to Mr. Callus in person. I should have noticed. This regret has filled me with a sadness that is that high and mighty chair in the opera Epiclese indeed insulates one from many important things. Spina di Rosula, thank you so much for your hard work and perseverance.
I'm sorry for being... So, you're actually one of those types that's cold on the outside, but pretty thoughtful on...
Sorry about that. Self-expression is not...
Didn't I just say you don't need to apologize?
Ah, so Navia and Neuvillette seem... Let's not disturb them for now. We can wait till... Paimon's never paid respects at someone's grave before.
Boy's still
did Paimon
there.
do anything rude there?
Yeah, our boy's still there.
Huh? Oh, Paimon didn't know that was a thing. But Paimon doesn't know what she would do if she can't fly. Oh no. Paimon hopes Miss Navia won't be too... Anyway, Neuvillette is still standing around there. It's not often that we can catch him alone like this, so why don't we go...
What was it again? Oh yeah, happy birthday, dear.
Oh, it's you two. Did Miss Navia invite you to come pay your respect?
We ran into Navia on the streets today, so we just...
I see. Please feel free. Though outsiders, you helped us solve one of the greatest mysteries in Fontaine, and it would be my... That the sea levels will rise and everyone will be dissolved in water, leaving... Does that appropriately summarize the version?
That's right! It was Linny that told us back then. And that about covers so...
Yes, up to the present, I think rumors have it that this prophecy is rooted in the last words the former Hydro Archon left to the world before she passed away.
A prophecy? Of the former Hydro Archon? Wow.
2 parts of the prophecy have already proven correct. The rising sea levels and the ability of the people of Fontaine to be dissolved. We should be more vigilant and stay on the watch for further signs. Speaking of the prophecy, Farina has also always taken it quite seriously. Indeed, she has been collecting information and intelligence from across Tevat for this purpose. If the rumors were true, then perhaps this prophecy is the
But with Farina being the way she is, can we really...
Is there anything else you... My apologies. My investigation has However, I still believe the judgment of the Oratrice was not rendered...
But you also...
For many years, I have been quite aware that the Oratrice does not simply mechanically repeat the verdict that I give on it. As a divinely created mechanism, the people's unified faith in the... Not only can it produce the incredible power of indemnitium, which is all to say I have been prepared for a situation...
So when Lenny told us that he heard a human voice from the room where the...
I was not aware such a thing had occurred. Perhaps that could serve to prove my... In any case, I am inclined to believe that the Based on Farina's reaction, I doubt even she had any idea what was going on. She managed to bluff. While we do intend to get to the bottom, if we did incorrectly convict him of crimes he did not commit, we will most certainly compensate him to the fullest extent allowed by the law.
If you ask Paimon, the only compensation he'll...
Is there anything else? Your sibling, another blonde-haired traveler. I'm sorry, but I've never seen anyone who... If she ever stepped foot in Fontaine, I'm sure she followed our laws to the letter and had no reason to appear on the stage of the opera Epiclese. Is there anything else you'd like to ask? That the sea level, does that appropriate?
That's right!
Yes, rumors have...
A prophecy?
2 parts of the... Speaking of, if the rumors...
But...
Is there...
So,
Truthfully, that name is already quite accurate. I can only surmise that Vacher and his ilk only learned of its nature. There used to be a special sea on the surface of this planet. The nature of its seawater was rather different from that of the sea. Most of Tevat's life forms were first born in that special sea. You could say it nurtured much of the life on this planet.
Huh. So it really was where everything began. It makes sense.
But today, the primordial sea no longer exists on the planet. What Vacher discovered must have been some kind of special case, or a remnant from a truly ancient age.
Huh. So that's how it is.
Indeed. Why would the primordial sea, which was known to engender and nurture life, suddenly reverse itself and devour life instead? To be frank, that also doesn't match my understanding of this world and its laws. Is there anything else you'd like to... Very well. It was my honor to provide you with what answers I could. It will soon be time for me to leave this blissful tranquility behind.
You really are super busy, Monsieur Neuvillette. Paimon thought you only came here to pay...
Crime and villainy do not have the day off, and so justice must work around the clock as well.
All right. Huh? Paimon just noticed that the rain has stopped.
Because he's not sad anymore. Then that's it for today for now. Yeah. That's it for now.
We've been walking around
nice.
for a while now. Why don't we go back to the Spina di Rosula base in the court of Fontaine and have a rest?
In your dreams.
Navia said something about having a place ready for us
Not the
there.
horizon of adventure. What's that? Huh? What the? Oh, this. I don't know what's happening.
It's up to me to decide who I want to be, and to cut my own
So
path.
yeah, that's it for
No
now.
one can tell me what to do.
Ad Astra.
Thank you for complete.
Ad Astra.
Anyways, thank you for watching. I'll see you guys next time, and consider subscribing since I need it. Yeah, I really need it. Like 2 or 3 subscribers is good enough for me.